Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TARDIS Zone Talks. Yeah, never a dull day in the Doctor Who universe. Excuse me, my throat is a bit dry there. Anyway, the Doctor Who page has updated, and it's actually broken by some media outlets out there that BBC failed to get their material together, so SFX magazine could feature a segment or feature a couple of pages dedicated to the Doctor Who 60th or to the Doctor Who Centenary special that's coming up in October. So the fact that they've missed the deadline means there will be no featurette in FX SFX. I can never get that right. Magazine, and we've got obviously a Centenary special coming up. But this is a wider failure of this complete era as a whole. Series 11, this show was probably the most promoted that it ever was in history. But as it didn't actually do well, it's like as if they kind of gave up. And then some people will use the COVID excuse as another reason too. But they didn't do enough. They didn't utilize online either enough, which just goes to show you that they had lost all faith and all confidence in this. And as I said on Twitter earlier today, well, why would BBC want to flog a dead horse? And that's basically what it is. 2.2 million people tuned in apparently for the latest episode, but I'd even question those numbers because, as we know, people don't always switch over the channel straight away. But let's show you this post. So this is what they have said. New promotion for the Centenary special will not be covered in the next issue of SFX magazine, as the BBC were too late to give them any material before the release of the magazine. This means there will likely be no promotion content covered in the magazine before the special airs in October. And you know, I may not be a fan of this era. Obviously, there's less than 2 million of them that are a fan of this era, but they're the ones that are being shortchanged right here. For us, we don't really care. We have pointed this out and highlighted this over the last few years, and it's like screaming into a void. Nobody wants to listen to us. They're saying we're just being negative for the sake of being negative. We're not. This is the reality of the situation. BBC or Chris Chibnall or whoever was responsible for getting promotional material out for this Centenary special do not give a crap. And here's the thing. They don't give a crap that even RTD himself has been promoting the Centenary special. Now, everybody thought that we might get something at San Diego Comic-Con. That didn't transpire whatsoever. But this has been a complete and utter mess from day one. And you notice the difference with the way RTD's era is doing it. Now, apparently there's some sort of announcement happening at 7:30. The Doctor Who fan page said Sunday, 7:30. So we might be back with another live stream. I'm not actually going to be streaming until 7:30 to wait for the news. If it comes out, I will cover it. But again, you know, it's quite remarkable that you still have people defending this era, saying that this era has been a success. It hasn't. And one of the reasons for that as well, listen, you can have the era of Doctor Who that we've had, right? And it hasn't been great. But if you got some great promotion behind it, you might be able to boost those numbers up a little bit. You know what I mean? That's the point of the whole point, actually, is that even no promotion. The BBC are incompetent. So 3 probable reasons, says the 80s, or the classic 80s fanboy. And we've got Cinnamon Toast Crunch and James Dawson members in there as well. Just before we get to the classic 80s fanboy comment, we'll just see. We've got Garbage, who's a member as well in the chat. We've got Heather, who's in the chat also. Welcome. Cameron is in the chat as well. So he says 3 probable reasons. 1, the BBC are incompetent. 2, the BBC are lazy. Or 3, the BBC can't be bothered. Well, I'm being honest. I think it's the third one. I don't think it's incompetence anymore. That may have been the excuse during the Series 12 promotion, but you cannot say it's incompetence now. I just don't think they want to promote it, to be quite honest with you. They just won't say it publicly. But the fact that RTD himself in some interviews has tried to promote this Centenary special tells you everything. That should be Chris Chibnall. You know, it's like as if he doesn't care. Since RTD was announced, he's washed his hands of it now, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He should be pushing. He's the showrunner of this era. He should be pushing for this promotion. But it's like as if he's just given up. So, I mean, I'd say to the fans that support this era, I mean, if the showrunner is giving up and BBC is giving up, why should you even give them their time? Why should you give them your time? I honestly don't get it. This man has shown nothing but disrespect to you, and so has the BBC. Look, as I said, I may not be a fan of this era, right? But where's the promotion for the people that are? They deserve something. Obviously, there's a few toxic elements in that fandom, but the majority of them that have actually enjoyed this era, which there's less than 2 million of them, but there's still less than 2 million people who BBC obviously do not give 2 craps about. And that's bad. You know, Bobby D, who's a 75, who's also a member, says epic fail. It's quite baffling. You know, it's our last episode and there's literally nothing. And I don't even think there's been anything from Jodie Whittaker's side of it either, or Mandip Gill. Isn't she still online as far as I know? Like nothing. It's like even the social media accounts are attempting to kind of, you know, drum up some interest. But I mean, putting posts up about Orphan 55 is not really going to do you any favours, to be quite honest with you. You know, and there seems to be a thing as well from some social media accounts out there still trying to justify the timeless child, right? Or the timeless children. Look I don't know how many times we have to say this for you to try get it through. Is our thick skulls, right? No matter what Chris Chibnall does, yeah, with this storyline, the fact of the matter is that whether you like it or not, the fandom will never accept anybody before William Hartnell. It's as simple as that. Simple as that, right? They're not, right? And also, fans are not going to accept the fact that a woman found a child, brought a child back to our home planet, experimented on that child for them to become a different race of people. The AI, the Time Lords, right? So they got that power through the abuse and murder of a child. And if you're telling me that Doctor Who fans are going to accept that, you've got another thing coming. They've already made it loud and clear. So you could try justify it with his little posts that show that the master, Sacha Dhawan's master, made references to the deadly assassin and stuff like that. You can link them all you want. The fact of the matter is that fans will not accept this. And until BBC and whoever's writing that show realises that, right, we're not going to get anywhere. It's as simple as that. They will not accept anybody before Hartnell. Even though it may have been indicated previously in the show, even in the classic era, fans are happy with William Hartnell to be the first Doctor. He's a bastardized the Time Lords, right? We've got Cyber Lords going on as well and all that nonsense, right? You've basically erased Missy's redemption arc by bringing in Sacha Dhawan's Doctor, which I haven't Master, and I do like Sacha Dhawan's Master, but the fact that you're just like forget about Michelle Gomez's Missy. Let's just forget about the redemption arc. Let's just look. Let's not even explain it. And this has been the problem. And this has been the problem throughout this era. It's just as simple as that. It's absolutely disgraceful for those fans that have genuinely supported this era. They're getting nothing. But it's just a lack of leadership, a lack of kahunas. You know, he's the showrunner. You don't just cower down and say nothing. Yet there is a new showrunner. You might like the fact that RTD has come back, but suck it up. Suck it up and promote your last bloody episode, and give the respect to the Doctor that that you brought in. Shows a lack of respect for Jodie Whittaker as well, in my opinion. But that's the thing. Lee says it in there, Hartnell first. No matter what Chibs does, right? Even if he doesn't rectify all of this, fans are not going to accept it. It's as simple as that. And BBC or RTD will be in serious trouble with his show, with his era, if he even tries to double down and try make this canon, right? Which I don't think he will do. But if he was to do that, fans are not going to accept it. I'm sorry, but the brutal reality is, and people get shy away from it, the Time Lords, right, got that power because a woman decided that she was going to experiment and murder a child. And if you're telling me, as I said, the Doctor Who fans are going to accept that as the foundation of the Time Lords, right, or the creation of the Time Lords, then I'm sorry, you've seriously underestimated Doctor Who fans, because that's utterly disgraceful. It's disgraceful, no matter which way you look at it. And people on the other side can justify, Tectoyum experimenting on a child. There is no justification for anybody to experiment on a child. Right? No justification whatsoever. It's absolutely disgusting when you actually break down the stuff that Chibs has done. It is. It's actually terrifying that the messages he's sending out to the young audience and the British public as a whole, it's scary. It's scary. The Scottish Davros and friends wrestle with pop culture, says where's his comment, because it just jumped up there. But I love seeing Daniel leave a comment. He says, I'm not surprised. Chibnall is a sack of crap. I think that's putting it mildly. So yeah, this is what these newer fans, and when I say newer fans, I mean the ones that jumped on board when Jodie became the Doctor. Let's be quite clear about it. Or blow-ins, as I like to call them. Right? They don't understand the history of this show. They don't understand how sacred certain things are to Doctor Who fans. And what you don't do is you don't meddle with the origins of the Doctor. And you actually don't mess with the origins of the Time Lords. Right? But that's what Chibs has decided to do. Because, every other showrunner may have hinted towards stuff and done certain stuff that didn't cross the line. But this man has literally crossed the line twice over and has just decided, well, I'm going to be different to everybody else because I'm extra special. and I'm going to do what I want to do. And this is the result. And listen, you can criticize all these other accounts out there. You can criticize me for the past 5 years. And as someone said recently, well, you deserved the abuse you got for 5 years, and I hope it continues for a long time to come. At the end of the day, I don't really care. I will always speak up for this show and actually say when I think things are being done the wrong way. I'm a fan, okay? And I have a standard, like every other Doctor Who fan has a standard. And, you know, if the writers and the people that are behind that show don't reach that standard, well, then they're going to be called out. It's as simple as that. And I'm sick of the media. The media now, you guys have a responsibility, right? And you have failed this fandom for the last 5 years, right? And I don't even call you journalists anymore. All yous are is a bunch of agendas pushing propagandists. Yous aren't even journalists anymore, right? Yous don't even know the meaning of the word journalism, right? Because what yous do isn't journalism. But you guys have a responsibility to tell the truth about this area. And yous have resisted because yous are afraid to be attacked by a crazed bunch of lunatics that run riot in fandom today, right? They're not even fans, they're blow-ins. You should be listening to the fans. When the fans are saying that this era is bad, it's bad. The evidence is there to back us up now. There is no denying that this era of Doctor Who under Chris Chibnall has been an utter disaster and a failure of mega proportions. And it's been so bad that we could have lost the show permanently if it hadn't have been for RTD to step in. Right? There's rumour that this show was being canned. That's how close we got to losing Doctor Who. But yeah, people will be out there and drumming this up that this is one of the greatest eras of all time. Well, I'm sorry, the evidence just doesn't back you up anymore. You need to stop defending Chris Chibnall. You need to call this out, and it's still not too late to call it out because this will send a message to the new showrunner that certain things cannot go on that went on in the current era if it has to survive, if it's going to survive. A message has to be clearly sent with recent events that fans expect a certain standard when it comes to Doctor Who. See, what's happened is in this fandom is that social media accounts that I was talking about on the other side of the argument and our YouTube channels, right? They've been lowering expectations for the last 5 years with fandom to make it not look as bad, but not overly praise it. But, you know, they've done enough, right? But they've lowered fans' expectations slowly as each series, I should say, was dropped, right? Leading up to it, months leading up to the new series, they were lowering standards, right? That's what they've tried to do. Same with me club, Manchester United. The owners have lowered standards that, like, you know, fans are just, you know, but we won't. That's for another day. But you lower standards, right? And because it's happened so, it hasn't happened in your face. These fans don't actually realise that the standard has been lowered and expectations have been lowered. And I'm sorry, as a Doctor Who fan, I will never, ever, ever change my standard or my belief where this show should go. Right? If you just want to lower expectations, that's your prerogative, but that's not how I am as a Doctor Who fan. I deserve, like all fans that have went through the pain over the years with this show, deserve the show to be treated with respect. And it hasn't been for the last 5 years under this regime. So, we just have to wait and see. If 8 million viewers are gone, AI rating is at an all-time low. Yep, it's the best ever, says Garbage. Exactly. Exactly. We got Tara Spider, who's a member as well. Remember, there's 2 levels there now, guys. We will be resuming the interviews from next week onwards, so look out for them. And we also have our RTD watch along. Just making sure I haven't missed any other members. I haven't. But look, all that said, as I said, years to come, this era will be analysed properly. When all this nonsense finally stops, right? It'll be analysed properly, and people will be shocked at how bad it actually is. Even Series 11 compared to Series 1 of RTD, which I'm watching right now, Series 11 has aged very badly. The CGI as well has deteriorated. It just doesn't look great. As I said, I'll always give Chris Chibnall kudos for trying to do something different, Series 11. But it didn't work, and that's where the damage was done. Tried to rectify it then after that with Series 12. And while he got a good start with the first episode, it was the second episode, the third episode after that was the real letdown. Again, Chris Chibnall and his team, and he's even admitted now that he was so worried about what they were doing that he wasn't even concentrating on his own scripts. So he hired an inexperienced team and he thought he was going to get something out of them. But what he got was mediocre scripts, and he couldn't concentrate on his own, apparently. So, I mean, it's his fault. He's the one that didn't keep some of the previous regimes around to help him with that transition. But he wanted to start from fresh. So he cleared out Air Doctor. He cleared out the people behind the scenes, and he brought in completely new people. And he thought, as I said, that he would get something absolutely brilliant. And we got mediocrity for the last 3 series and specials. I'm sorry, but the standards have hit the floor, and it's unacceptable for a show as historic as Doctor Who deserves a lot better. It doesn't matter whether you're a fan or not, right? It's been around a long time, nearly 60 years, right? It deserves a lot more respect than what it's getting right now. And it's sad. But what can you do? What can you do? Hopefully now RTD can rectify it. But look, I'm going to leave it there. As I said, there's supposed to be another announcement or something at 7:30. So we'll see if that transpires. If it does, I'll be back at 7:30. If not, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It could be nothing. It could be nothing. It could be connected to the RTD era. It could be something completely different. But we'll see what happens. As I said. But yeah, thanks for all your comments. Let me know what you thought of this. But I do think it highlights the incompetence of the current, of the previous regime, because they're gone now. But it's like as if they're gone. They left the building, and they don't actually care. So I think their attitude alone should show you that they don't care. They don't care. John thinks it might be Shooty's new costume. Well, we'll have to wait and see about that. I think it's a bit early for costume announcements right now. It's got something to do with the Cybermen. Whatever this is, it's got something to do with the Cybermen. We know that for a fact. Because I did a video on it, and I showed you, I did a stream on it, and I showed you the live countdown. Actually, while we're here, let's go into it real quickly. see what the countdown is on now. Should be an hour left on the countdown, but we'll check it out. Or it could be something that they're doing. Nobody knows, but they said there was an announcement, and they're the ones that are coming out with this stuff that I'm actually talking about now. And the other media have reported on it anyway, but it's absolutely disgraceful. I mean, the fans of this era, and I mean the genuine fans of this era, deserve a whole lot better, and they're being treated like trash. It's actually sickening. But they will tolerate it because Tasman, which is, in my opinion, is selling yourself out. To be quite honest with you, you're sellouts. He's not even done Tasman properly either. But he will lap it up because it happened anyway. It doesn't matter. Right, so we're near this Cyberman. Here we go. Where's the link? Hold on. Where's the link? All right, he said that apparently it's got an upgrade. Okay. Right, it's just led me to someone's Instagram account. And they're not following anybody. They've only 118 followers. Is this a fan thing? Yeah, but why is the countdown disappear? I don't get that. This could be another fucking clickbait crappy thing again I mean, the fans have to stop with that crap, to be quite honest with you, if it is. Right, well, we'll see what happens at 7:30, because I'm pretty sure if anything does happen at 7:30, it'll be talked about on Twitter and Instagram pretty quick enough. So yeah, there's a couple of photographs that they have up of the Cybermen. I was supposed to throw them up, but because there was only 3 photographs and it didn't actually explain that, and there was no, I don't know what's going on. We'll see. Anyway, as I said, it's less than an hour away, so if anything happens, I'll be keeping an eye. So if anything happens, I will be back. But as I said, just like to thank everybody that came in, left a comment. As I said, it's quite shocking from the BBC, Chris Chibnall, how they're treating fans of this era. But they clearly don't care anymore. And, as I said, flogging, they don't want to flog a dead horse, because this is what this is. If they thought there was any chance of recovery after Flux with the specials, well, I think they've been given their answer, and they just decided that, why waste money on promoting it when we could use that money for something else, basically. And it's sad state of affairs. Look, I don't take any joy in this whatsoever. I'm a Doctor Who fan. I want to see the best, and I want to see the show shown in the best light. But right now, that's just not happening. Well, obviously, RTD has brought back some excitement. We're not going to lie. And some of the announcements have been absolutely fantastic. So we'll just wait and see what he does with it. But I tell you, if I was a Jodie Whittaker fan now, or I was a fan of this era, I'd be very extremely annoyed with the BBC and with Chris Chibnall, because the disrespect towards Jodie Whittaker's doctor is clear to see now. They obviously do not give a crap. And this was one of the reasons why I always said that bringing a woman in for the role, if it wasn't done for the right reasons, was the wrong decision to make. And we have seen that happen over the last 5 years. And, it wasn't done for the right reasons. It wasn't. And no matter what anybody else says out there, it wasn't. The fact of the matter is, you didn't even cast the best female for the role either. You picked an actress that some people think is very good, and that's fine, fair enough. But for what I've seen of her, and I've seen a lot of her stuff, by the way, believe it or not, because she's been in shows where she's featured, and I have watched all of Broadchurch, right? To me, she's just an average actress. You needed someone spectacular, someone that actually had screen presence. And if you're gonna go with a female doctor, I'll give an example of another actress with the same name, Jodie. Right, Jodie Comer would have been a much better choice, right? Or you had Claire Foy, who was obviously, she was tied up with the Queen, but you could have got Claire Foy. There was plenty. Olivia Colman was rumoured as well. There was plenty of actresses out there that were better than Jodie Whittaker that you could have chose from. But you chose Jodie Whittaker because she had a certain ideology, she had certain beliefs, and that suited what Chibs wanted anyway. And the fact that they were friends didn't do our prospects any harm. But the bottom line is, I'm sorry, this is going to hurt some people out there. The bottom line is that she was out of our league. Yes, she received poor scripts, but I'm sorry, we cannot shy away from the fact that the actress herself was not up to the task. Simple as that. And that's hard to hear for some fans out there, but that's the reality of the situation. She just was not good enough. Right? She might be good in Broadchurch and that nurse program that she was in, and she was in Attack the Block, and she was in Black Mirror and stuff like that. She was good in some of those parts, right? But she was no leading lady, in my opinion. But there you go. Anyway, let's we'll see what happens in the next 15 minutes or so, and see if there's any sort of announcement, or is this all just a fan thing? Because if it is, it's absolutely people are thinking that there's going to be something from RTD and co. To be quite honest with you, it'd be nice to get some news. But again, if RTD does come out with something, I just want to end with this actually. But how long is he in the job? And how many announcements have we had? And he's, you know what I mean? The stark difference. But again, if he does announce something, or something gets announced, it will highlight again Chris Chibnall's incompetence. Right? Because RTD can do it. Anyway, we'll leave it there because we could bang on about this for a lot longer. But I think I've covered everything that I need to say, and I can, there's a lot is in the chat as well that, we all saw this coming. I mean, after Series 11, they just completely gave up. We've been trying to tell them that since that. But, apparently, all we are is we were just creating drama for the sake of it. No, we weren't. We were trying to make you aware and highlight these issues. So you could have done something about it. And believe it or not, I hate the fact that you do have so much power. But you could have done something to course correct this. You could have demanded that Chris Chibnall give better scripts to use our female doctor. But you chose to defend them and defend them and defend them just to get back at us because we wouldn't support it. So you were basically petty in that way. Whereas if you had a came together, as I said, if this fandom had a came together, it didn't matter what side of the issue you were on when it came to a female doctor, or whether you liked the show or not, right? The fact of the matter is that the showrunner wasn't doing his job properly, and we should have all called him out, but we were calling him out, and we were called the toxic ones. So listen, you can wallow in our sadness about how this has gone, and you can waggle fingers and point fingers in every direction except the direction that finger should be pointed. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is that this era was a spectacular failure from start to finish. And you better hope, for the sake of it, that RTD can sprinkle his magic again. Because if the rumors are true, we spoke about it here on this channel, but other channels were speaking about it as well. Apparently, this show was about to be canned before RTD stepped in to give it another crack. So, if that's the case, that's how much damage Chris Chibnall has done to Doctor Who. I'll never forgive him. I won't. Jodie Whittaker, don't really care. At the end of the day, yes, she played a part in it, but at the end of the day, she was given an opportunity by her friend. He left her out to dry, so he's more responsible as far as I'm concerned. I have no ill feeling towards Whittaker. Wish her well, and her career well. Hopefully it can recover from this. But Chris Chibnall, I'll never forgive, because it's the things that he wrote and the things that he did with the show that I will not be able to forgive. So, that's where I am. Anyway, they didn't stick to the 5-year plan. Well, first it was a 5-year plan, then it was 5 serious at one stage. And I said, no way was it going to be 5 serious, right? And remember, right, and people still question me. I don't really care. Remember, I was telling you that all she was ever getting was 3 serious. I told people that, and people laughed at me at the time, right? Told people that, right? Just like we talked about on this channel, and guests that I had on spoke about David Tennant's return. We spoke about that before anybody else spoke about it, yeah? And now people are talking about when the decision was made. But we were talking about ages and ages before everybody else. And then people are still going around with their rhetoric that, the TARDIS zone has zero credibility. We talked about this is why yous are all still here. Yous were here for all of those live streams when we spoke about all of these things, right? When we spoke about chaos in Cardiff, when we spoke about the problems. So, we'll see. Look, as I said, years to come, this era will be looked at and will be analysed properly. And when they do, they'll see how bad it actually was. So, yeah, 5-year plan with 2 years off. Yeah. Well, it should have ended after Series 11, Real Super Doctor. In fairness, you make an excellent point there. If BBC had have actually just axed Chibnall there and then after how bad Series 11 had gone, then there was hope to keep this show going in a positive direction. But they stuck with him. Whereas, they stuck with him because they wanted to save face. But you see, I'm sorry. And look, I don't work for the TV industry. But if I was the head of drama and Doctor Who was one of those shows that was under my watch, and I seen what Chibs was doing with the show, I would actually be ruthless and fire him on the spot. And I would have fired Jodie Whittaker, Bradley Walsh, Chris Mandip Gill. I would have got rid of them all. I would have sacked everybody. So that what? Let me see. TARDIS only. BBC is going to see Elstree Studios, the stupid F's. Yeah, but it's not in relation. It's probably not in relation to Doctor Who because Bad Wolf have their own studios. So unless it's connected, I'll have a look into that. If there's any articles or art in PD, send them to me on Messenger and we'll cover it. We might, if there's no other news, I might cover it tonight at 7:30. I will come back because there's probably other stuff out there just like that news right now that has popped up. But I would have been ruthless. Just like what the DC guy is doing. You have to be ruthless, right? People are complaining you dump a $90 million. Apparently it was 90 million, not 70 like I've been saying. So $90 million movie, right? But that's how ruthless you have to be if you don't believe in it or you think it's not up to standard. You've got to make those decisions, right? There's no time for saving face here, right? You know what I mean? You've got to get this back on track ASAP. Chibnall should have gone after Series 11 with the rest of them. Yes, what would have happened then is I would have said, right, listen, folks, we got it wrong. But to get this back on track, we're going to need a couple of years. We're going to need 2 years. We give you a 2-year time frame. We're going to look for a new showrunner, and we're going to go through the process of getting a team in place that we believe can move this show forward. That's what should have happened, right? And to be quite honest with you, after Series 11 and the fact that the morale had hit the floor, if BBC had come out and done that and told fans, listen, we got it wrong, right? We're gonna try do it again, but give us a couple of years to do what we need to do, get in place to make this show a success again. I think fans at the time wouldn't have cared waiting 2 or 3 years. If they knew there was a chance for this show to be done properly after Series 11's disaster, then I think fans would have been patient and actually would have forgave the BBC. But they stuck with him to save face, folks. Right? And that's why Piers Wenger shouldn't be in the job that he's in. You've got to be ruthless. Listen, I don't know anything about the TV industry, right? Okay, I don't work in it, right? But if I see a show like Doctor Who, EastEnders, all of these shows under Piers Wenger's watch are all struggling, I would have people looking into those shows, right, to tell me the reasons why, right? So I'd bring in people to say, right, you are independent from Doctor Who, blah, 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 these shows. I want you to go in and tell me what the fundamental problems are with each show and report back to me. And then I'd make the decisions based off that report, right? But none of that kind of shit seems to be going on at the BBC. But you've got to be ruthless, right? The only time that Chris Chibnall was ruthless in his whole tenure as Doctor Who boss was when he ruthlessly fired Peter Capaldi. The only time that he was ruthless, when he sacked Peter Capaldi because he wanted to bring in his buddy. Remember that, right? It's the only time that Moffat or that Chibnall showed any sort of that he was a real man. When he asked a doctor that a lot of fans actually loved, no matter what the other side say, Peter Capaldi is beloved in this fandom and he's rated very highly. Yes, his scripts weren't the greatest, but some of his greatest scripts and some of the scripts that weren't the best were elevated because of his acting ability. But that was the only time, folks, that Chibs was ever ruthless, is when he got rid of Peter Capaldi, even though Peter Capaldi had said at the time when Chibs got the job, oh, I can't wait to work with Chibs. We worked on Torchwood together. A lot of fans were actually excited because at the time, a lot of fans, well, they have worked together. This collaboration will actually be decent, you know? But we all know what happened. We all know what happened, you know? And instead of blaming us on the failure of this era because we're the easy targets, You should be blaming the people that are responsible. And that would be my message to all you fans out there that have supported this era. And if I were you guys, I'd be kicking up stink that Chris Chibnall doesn't even have the decency to get his team or whoever stayed back to get material out so magazines could cover Jodie Whittaker's final episode. I'd be pissed right now. But maybe you don't want to because you don't want to be seen going against the showrunner. Well, it's the right thing to do, but there you go. Anyway, we'll be back. I've gone way over. We'll be back in about 35 minutes if that happens. PD Rich has sent me that article. So when I do come back, I'm going to read the article now. When we come back at 7:30, we will be back at 7:30. I'll throw up the stream now in a few minutes. We'll be back at 7:30 and we'll cover that as well. And if it's not Doctor Who dominated, there's other stuff that I do want to talk about briefly as well. I was going to leave it for maybe a separate stream, but we'll see how it goes with the Doctor Who stuff tonight at 7:30. If it's going to take up the whole stream, then I have another special stream planned for you during the week, because I want to talk about a couple of movies, few movies that I've watched during the week, new movies that I've watched during the week, and one in particular has a lot of the usual suspects bitching about it, and I want to do a stream and actually tell people why they're wrong and why they got it totally wrong on this, and it just goes to show that no matter what happens, they're never going to be happy. So we'll get into that anyway. But we'll see you in a half an hour. Well, 38 minutes or 38 minutes. So, we'll talk to you in a few. Have a good one. See you soon, folks. Bye.